I smiled as the receptionist handed me a clipboard. "I'm here to see my husband," I said proudly. She paused, looked at her screen, then back at me. "I'm sorry. You're not listed as his wife." I laughed. "That's impossible. We've been married for 2 years." Her face didn't change. "His wife is already upstairs. She's pregnant." My heart stopped. Pregnant? I was the one who couldn't conceive. The reason he said he was under pressure. The reason he worked late every night. My hands trembled as the elevator doors opened. And there he was, holding her hand, rubbing her belly, calling her baby. I whispered, "What do you mean I'm not the wife?" He turned pale. Then she looked at me, and smiled. "Because," she said softly, "you were never legally married." The papers I signed? Fake. The ceremony? Unregistered. The ring? Just a promise. He never divorced his real wife. And I was just the secret. But here's the twist. 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. And this time, I made sure I was the one holding the legal documents. I stared at the 2 pink lines like they were about to disappear. Pregnant. After 2 years of being told I was the problem. The barren one. The disappointment. Pregnant. My hands were shaking, but this time not from heartbreak. From power. Because now I understood everything. The late nights. The fake paperwork. The way he always avoided legal conversations. The way he insisted we never file taxes together. He didn't marry me because he loved me. He married me because I was convenient. But now? Now I carried something he could never ignore. I didn't call him. I didn't cry. I called a lawyer. And when the lawyer asked, "Do you have proof he presented himself as your legal husband?" I smiled. Oh, I had proof. Photos. Messages. Voice notes calling me his wife. Joint investments. Signed contracts with Mrs. next to my name. If he wanted to play games, I was about to change the rules. 2 days later, he showed up at my door. Pale. Nervous. Desperate. "How did you find out?" he demanded. I folded my arms. "Your wife told me." The word burned his ego. "She's complicated," he said quickly. "You don't understand." "No," I interrupted softly. "You don't understand." I placed the pregnancy test on the table between us. His eyes widened. "You're it?" "Yes." For the first time, he looked afraid. Not emotional. Afraid. Because now there was evidence. Bloodline. DNA. Legacy. And men like him cared about legacy more than love. That night, his legal wife called me. I almost didn't answer. But I did. Her voice wasn't angry. It was tired. "He told me you were obsessed with him," she said quietly. "That you wouldn't leave him alone." I closed my eyes. "Did he tell you he staged a wedding?" I asked. Silence. Then, "He told me you knew about me." I laughed. A broken, hollow sound. "He told us 2 different stories," I whispered. And suddenly, I realized something. We weren't enemies. We were victims. 3 weeks later, everything exploded. His wife filed for divorce. I filed a fraud and emotional damages case. His company's board found out. Turns out investors don't like CEOs who fake marriages. The headlines read, "Billionaire executive accused of double life scandal." He called me non-stop. I never answered. Until the day he showed up at my doctor's appointment. "I can fix this," he begged. I looked at him the way you look at a stranger. "There is no this to fix." He swallowed. "I love you." I tilted my head. Love doesn't hide. Love doesn't forge documents. Love doesn't split itself in 2. His voice broke. "I'll leave her." And that's when I dropped the final truth. "You already did." He frowned. "What?" "She lost the baby," I said quietly. His face drained of color. Stress. Shock. Heartbreak. Everything he caused came back. And for the first time, he looked small. Not powerful. Not charming. Small. Months passed. The divorce was finalized. My case settled quietly. Very generously. But here's the twist he never saw coming. I didn't put his name on the birth certificate. When my son was born, I held him against my chest and whispered, "You will never be someone's secret." He tried to fight for custody later. But the evidence? The fraud? The public scandal? The judge didn't favor him. Supervised visits. Limited access. No control. 2 years later, I saw him again. At a charity gala. Older. Quieter. Watching from across the room. This time, I wasn't alone. My son was holding my hand. And beside me was someone else. A man who knew the full story. Who didn't care about my past. Who showed up to every doctor appointment. Every late-night craving. Every fear. He knelt down and lifted my son into his arms like it was the most natural thing in the world. And across the room, my ex finally understood. He didn't lose me because I couldn't give him a child. He lost me because he didn't know how to be a man. And the most satisfying part? I was never the other woman. I was the lesson. I thought the story was over. The scandal. The divorce. The baby. The new beginning. I thought we had all paid our price. But I was wrong. It was almost midnight when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Almost. Hello. Silence. Then a familiar voice. It's me. His wife. Or, technically, his ex-wife now. I sat up slowly. What happened? Her voice wasn't tired this time. It was steady. I need to tell you something before he does. My heart tightened. What? A pause. Then, he lied to both of us. But not about everything. I frowned. What are you talking about? She exhaled shakily. You weren't the only one who was pregnant. The room felt smaller. What? I didn't lose the baby, she whispered. My breath stopped. He told you I miscarried because he didn't want you two comparing timelines. I had a daughter. A daughter. My mind raced. How old? I asked quietly. 6 months younger than your son. The truth hit like a wave. 2 children. 2 women. 2 lies running at the same time. He planned it, she said bitterly. He wanted heirs. Options. Insurance. He told me he needed a backup plan in case something happened to the pregnancy. Backup plan. I felt sick. He treated us like investments, she continued. Like we were incubators for his legacy. My hands trembled, but not from pain. From clarity. He's filing for partial custody of both children, she said. And he's claiming he wants them raised together. As siblings. Of course he was. Image repair. Redemption arc. The devoted father. I closed my eyes. What do you want? I asked her. There was a long pause. I want him to stop controlling the narrative. A week later, we met in person for the first time. No wedding gowns. No courtrooms. No deception. Just 2 women sitting across from each other in a quiet cafe. She looked at me carefully. You're not what he described, she admitted. You're not either, I replied. And strangely, we both smiled. Because we finally saw the truth. The villain was never each other. The custody hearing came fast. He walked into court confident. Tailored suit. Calm expression. Reformed man energy. He spoke about unity. About family. About mistakes. But then, she stood up. And so did I. Together. Her lawyer presented financial records. Emails. Private messages. A contract draft. Yes. A contract. One he had written and saved on his laptop. It detailed family structuring strategy. 2 potential heirs. Separate mothers. Discrete arrangements. Inheritance contingencies. The courtroom went silent. The judge's face hardened. He wasn't a romantic who made mistakes. He was a strategist who got caught. When the judge spoke, his voice was final. Primary custody will remain with the mothers. The father will have structured visitation pending psychological evaluation. Psychological evaluation. Public record. Career ending. His perfect image cracked in real time. He looked at me. Not angry. Not pleading. Just defeated. And for the first time, I felt nothing. No rage. No heartbreak. No revenge. Just peace. Months later, something unexpected happened. Our children met. Not because he forced it, but because we chose it. His daughter had her father's eyes. My son had my stubborn chin. They played in the park like they'd known each other forever. No drama. No legacy. No strategy. Just innocence. She stood beside me quietly. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. I watched my son laugh. "No," I said honestly. "Why?" Because if he hadn't lied, I would still be living inside a story written by someone else. Instead, I built my own. 2 years later, I stood in another white dress. Not a wedding gown. Just something simple. Soft. Peaceful. The man beside me didn't promise legacy. He promised partnership. He didn't want heirs. He wanted us. And when he knelt down to speak to my son before proposing, he said, "If I marry your mom, I marry you too." No contracts. No strategy. Just love. Across the garden, I noticed someone watching from a distance. Him. Alone. Older. Irrelevant. He didn't approach. He didn't speak. Because even he understood now. Some lessons cost everything. I was never the other woman. I was never the backup plan. I was the wake-up call. And in the end, he didn't lose 2 women. He lost a family he never deserved.